Justo quando io empezó a grabar, por supuesto. Yeah, I want some quesadillas, please. So anyways, changing out the battery on my MacBook. You gotta make sure you use the right one. They're difficult to distinguish, but one's a Torx and one is Apple's patented. Yeah, that's not it. Apple's patented little pen thing. This is it. Like you can feel it engage. But the screws are so small, it's hard to get exactly lined up. You just got to be careful with it. And you want to keep the screws, as you can see in the background, I'm putting them in the order that I removed them. Which is also standard practice in the aerospace industry. But in this case, you have to do it because the two in the center and the back on this model are longer than the other ones are. As you can see, these other ones are probably 1/8 of an inch long. So you've got that. And then we're going to sit here and we are going to remove the back cover carefully. As you can see, set that out of the way. Then we're going to take the Torx driver, this, and we're going to remove the 4 screws. And I use a mouse pad or a piece of foam. My wife is in the background making all kinds of crazy noise. The battery bolts, you want to be careful too because they are also different sizes in terms of removing anything. And you don't want any static electricity or anything. Not really that there's something in here that I think that you would damage, but if you were messing with your boards or anything, you don't want to do this around a carpeted area or someplace where you're going to have a lot of static electricity. The battery bolts themselves are different sizes. There are 5 of them. One on each corner and one in the center on a MacBook Air, and they are different lengths, so put them where they go. Okay, we got this. There's a little plastic tab on here. Disconnect that, and then you're going to want to gently peel out your battery, just like so. Okay, set that to the side for the time being. We're going to get our replacement battery out of the kit, just right here. And because we've removed the entire tray, we can set this exactly back in there. There's no dirt or anything, so I'm pretty good to go. This actually is pretty clean too for being as old as it is. Now I'm going to replace the screws in exactly the same order I took them back out in, or took them out in. So I'm going to situate the one right in the center. Make sure I've got this exactly where I want it to go without cross-threading the plastic. And I can feel this one engage. And I'm making certain not to over torque it. So that one's there. We're just going to repeat the process. Remember, this is going into what may be a plastic or a composite receptor or base material, so you don't want to really torque this thing down. Plus, when you're tightening anything anyways, you want to leave them kind of loose until you get all of your screws in case there's any deflection in the material or whatever. We're not going to turn this into rocket science. It's just changing a battery, man. but you do have to be a little methodical about it, because if not, you're gonna put the screws in the wrong place or whatever. And I don't know how well you can see the background, but that's what's going on. Get that out of the way. So we have all of our battery screws in. So again, I'm going to torque them, working across, starting the center, going in the X pattern, crossing the part. So that's that. Now we're going to replace, we're going to peel up the plastic on the battery cord, and we are going to put this in, now that we have the battery in place. Without bending it or crimping it up. And there's a small, you can see which way it goes, but because I'm doing this on film, there we go. Yeah. Voila. This component right here, little plastic tab, lifts up. Be very careful when you're putting that in. Then we're going to replace the cover, man. Voila. Not hard. So remember, there's a little fin that fits up over this. And the same thing, I like to start with the longer screws in the back, because the rest of them are all basically the same. So if you did mix something up, at least you got the long ones in the right order, so you're not going to try to screw something somewhere where it doesn't belong. And it's the same thing, I'm not going to tighten them all the way up until I get them all in case there's any mismatch on the cover, which could just be a machining defect, could be a defect in cast material. So we got that. Same thing. So anyways, there you have it. And you know, I'm just going to do it right now. See if this thing powers up. Of course, there's let me pause this to get the power adapter 1 sec. Actually, I didn't even go get the power adapter. There's a siren in the background. I've had the video pause for about 10 seconds. And so this thing's starting to power up. As you can see. I'm going to get the power adapter anyways. 1 sec. I'll tell you how much time is left when I get back. There has been about 20 seconds that has elapsed between when I powered this off. So anyways, so I've got this thing charging up right now. And we've just replaced. Can't let you guys have that. I'm going to cut that. So there you have it, guys. Easy peasy. How to change out the battery on your Mac. Not a big deal. Downtown like Julie Brown. No biggie. Okay? Cheers. Hey guys, just one other thing too, just briefly. If you feel like one of your screws is not going all the way in, I just like to give it a couple rotations backwards to make sure that while applying gentle pressure, and you'll feel it skip a thread or the thread entrance, and then you can start going forward to make sure that you don't cross thread it. So there's that. Anyways, just wanted to throw that little detail in there. I've only got 3 more screws left to go. Put the rest of them in, but there you go. Oh, one last little detail piece. So we got all these in there. You can see it. You can see they're all in. Everything's in. Everything's tightened down and torqued. But one last little thing. When you're doing this, I don't know what this does with Apple warranty. So if you do this, do so at your own risk, okay? Anyways, you can see me in the background of the screen. That's what's up. You can see the battery's got battery to it. If I plug in the charger, is right here. You can see it light up. You can see that it's charging up there. So everything's hooked up and configured correctly. There was nothing that I really had to do to it, and it's just that simple. Screensaver's going off. Anyways, that's all there is. Have a great day.